Kearney chapter of Unico really appreciates the turnout that we have in this roast for John Cali. I'd like to let everybody know this roast tonight is for a boy that's been involved with me and some friends of mine, and he's a little guy from the town of Kearney. He's 7 years old, who suffers from the illness of leukemia. And from everybody coming here tonight, we're going to try and help the family as much as possible. So to get this started right now, we're going to have people up here tearing Johnny Cali apart. And I'd like to thank Johnny Cali for sitting here taking it. And to get us started, we're going to have Dave Rowlands come up here, who's going to be the MC for the evening. And I hope everybody has a great time. And let's get this thing started. Thank you.
Thank you, Phil. President Paglia, members of Unico, and ladies and gentlemen, I'd like to thank all of you for coming out here tonight for a very worthy cause. At this time, I'd like to call on Father Dowd, who will give an invocation. Father?
I wish I could be part of the roast. I got a few good stories on John Cali, but every time I asked him to hear confessions, he told me to bring my lunch. I don't know what that meant, but we never got around to that lunch. I just want to say it's a privilege to be here tonight. It's my first time actually with Unico, and I've been the chaplain on paper. But now here I am in reality, and it's a pleasure, believe me. I admire what you do and the care and concern you show to youth. I'm the executive director of CYO for the Archdiocese, and that's my stock and trade. Kids have a rough time growing up today, and I'm glad to be part of any organization that supports care and supports the youth of our country. So without that, making a speech there, John Cali, I love you. One of the toughest guys I know with the most sensitive heart I know, who does an awful lot for CYO, and I'm very grateful to him. So this prayer is for him. It's an old English prayer and a blessing, and it's written so small I had to put my glasses on. So let us pray and make that our grace and a blessing for our gathering. Give us, O Lord, a bit of sun, a bit of work, and a bit of fun. Give us in all the struggle and sputter our daily bread and a bit of butter. Give us health, our keep to make, and a bit to spare for others' sake. Give us, too, a bit of song and a tale and a book to help us along. Give us, O Lord, a chance to be our goodly best, brave, wise, and free. Our goodly best for ourselves and for others, till all men learn to live as brothers. May this blessing come upon us, and may the Lord receive our thanks for the food, for the chance to be together, and to praise His holy name through Christ our Lord. Amen. God bless. Buona fortuna. That's my word I learned for tonight. Thank you.
Thank you, Father. For those who don't know, Unico is a nationwide organization. The Kearney chapter of Unico, of course, is a very active chapter. Unico consists of Americans who are of Italian nationality. It's a service above self organization. The whole idea for tonight came from Mr. Phil Caputo. Young boy, 7 years old, stricken with leukemia, needs our help. I want you to know that every penny of profit made here tonight goes to that family. I also want you to know that the warmth and the love that is felt here in the first hour of this affair certainly is being transmitted to that young boy. And I'd like you to know that my forecast is, and I'm sure all of us, is that he will recover, and we'll make sure of it. As I said, the idea was Phil Caputo's. It's a roast. He gave me the charge of picking the person we're going to roast. We had a committee. The committee met several times. Our first and best candidate for this roast was John Cali. However, Phil Caputo said to me, you must look at other candidates and see if there's anyone else more acceptable than John. So we did look at other candidates with my able assistant. Would you stand over here, please? This way. Would you come to my right, please? Right here. With my able assistant, I'm going to show you the actual notes made by our committee in selecting John Cali. These are the rejected nominees, as you can see, as Dana drops this down. I hope she doesn't foul up too much. Okay. Now, we thought about roasting Mayor Vartan. Mayor Vartan, of course, would be an excellent choice. A witty guy, fun guy, a person that we could certainly have a lot of fun with. However, we could not roast Mayor Vartan. And why? Oh, gee. Couldn't roast Mayor Vartan. Town Ordinance 21831J prohibits us from poking fun or teasing at any known homosexual. No, not yet, not yet, not yet. We gave a lot of thought to our own chairman, Phil Caputo. Football coach, everybody loves him, rah-rah guy. Couldn't roast Phil Caputo. Not much can be said about a man whose only goal in life is to spend a day in the New York Giants locker room and take a shower with running back Rodney Hampton. Not yet. Then we gave a lot of thought to our former president, Joey Russo, and our president, Anthony Paglia, sort of like combining them together into one. However, could not roast Joey Russo nor Anthony Paglia. Let's face it, how many Beavis and Butthead jokes can you tell in one night? Wait till I'm finished. Okay. One of our roasters is Joey Petito. He and his dad owned Sunset Deli for years. Very well respected, great cold cuts, great service. We thought about roasting Joey Petito. However, could not roast Joey Petito. Because some of us on the committee are getting a little bit older. Who wants to hear about Joey continually bragging about how hard his salami gets? I fouled that one up. Don't get and finally, we thought about roasting Nino the Tailor, which we had done a year and a half ago. Nino would be a perfect choice. Again, very popular in town. However, could not roast Nino the Tailor. Roasted him last year. What more can you say about someone who sells men's clothes during the day and by night dresses in women's lingerie? However, we can roast John Cali, and he is our first choice. The first roastee of the night, needs no introduction, one of the funniest men in our town, a successful businessman, a well-loved person. He's behind Kearney football, behind our kids 100% and all the time. We all love Joey Petito. Joey?
Nice to be here. I can't tell you how thrilled I am to be here. I mean, Johnny Cali? 33,000 people in Kearney, and they end up with Johnny Cali. But I want you to know that before I came, I did stop at Nino's, bought this wonderful soup. As I walked out the door, Nino said, as soon as the humidity goes down, it'll straighten out. So I watched the Weather Channel. They said Friday I should be in pretty good shape. Now, I was told it had to be clean, then I hear 42 dirty jokes. We were pretty well versed on what we could say and what we couldn't say. So that's all I have to say. But John, you know, John is a wonderful, I can't say that. I would like John to step up just for a minute. John, can you come here a minute? Bright guy. Don't let anybody think that this guy ain't bright. I sold him a lighter in my store. It is the new child-proof lighter. Bought it on a Monday. Sunday, I see him at the Carney game. He's like this in the stands. Son of a bitch, I can't believe it. I called him over. I said, John, there's a little knob on the back. You push the knob up, voila. You got it?
That's true.
Okay, you're all right. I also wanted everyone to see who the guy is that picks up our garbage in town. And I have to say, I really don't have a lot of complaints. Some that I think we all have. You'll notice that his trucks are impeccably clean. And you don't even hear them coming up the street. But you do know when they pass where you live or where your business is, because the garbage you left on the corner is now in the street. I've thrown out the same garbage 4 consecutive days.
That's recycling.
That's recycling. He keeps telling us that's how we save money. When he goes to the dumps, there's not a lot of weight in the truck. And I said,
I just did what Richie told me to do.
yeah. You told me to blame Richie. But he did yell at one guy one day because he took my whole garbage can and all of it went in the truck. And I hear this guy screaming at 6 o'clock in the morning, what are you doing? I look at, what happened, John? He said, he made it, put it all in the truck. Well, that's all right. What a lot of people don't know is that John's father, my father was John's father's godfather. So growing up, I wasn't allowed to associate with John because my father knew a lot about him. Every time I would say, are you going to go over to see the Calis? He said, yeah, but you can't. John is known for a lot of things. And one of the things that I will always remember about Johnny Cali, things that you hear, sayings that you hear that you never forget. Like at Bunker Hill when he said, don't fire till you see the whites of their eyes. Never forget that. When MacArthur said, I shall return. You never forget that. When John Kennedy said, ask not what your country could do for you, but what you could do for your country, you never forget that. And then Johnny Cali, who says, I'm going to tell you something, and this ain't no bullshit. Somewhere we got to put a stone in this town with that saying. Whether he's ordering a sandwich or coffee, he said, John, let me tell you something, this ain't no bullshit. Give me a ham sandwich. All right, John. Now, I know a lot of us followed the O.J. Simpson trial. And during that trial, I mean, I watched it all every day. I mean, I was really enthralled. I really was involved with this RFLP and PCR and alleles.
I gave you this the other night.
You're right, and I'm stealing it. You're right. Right. Just call me Milton. Just call me Milton Berle.
I'm telling this story. Stop right now.
I'm not going to finish it then. All right, I'll go to the next story. An Irishman at a Unico. This is what you get. He's got one thought in his mind. If he ever loses his train of thought, we're in deep shit here. All right, then I'll have to go to number 5. I'll go past it. Last May, at a very sad time in my life, but John, thank God, showed up for it, was at a wake for my dad, and he shows up, and in he comes with the silk suit, the knit shirt to the button to the top, the silk shoes, silk socks, and the patent leather shoes, and he walks in, And when he walks into a room, John makes a presence. I mean, John does have a presence. Could you see me? So he comes back and expresses his condolences and walks to the back of the funeral parlor. Two of my nieces come up on my father's side. Said, "Who is that?" I said, "Who's what?" And he said, "The guy in the back." "That's John Gotti." He was able to get out for the wake. He said, "That's John." Now, I really don't socialize with John, and that's my prerogative. Many a time he's called me and said, "Would you like?" No. I would rather not, John. Nothing personal. It's just that you're not my kind of person to hang around with. But I have had the misfortune of attending several golf outings with John. What John has done to golf, Arnold Palmer can never repair. If the club is made, John's got it in his garage. They all look brand new because all the times I've gone with him, he does everything but hit the ball. I mean, great swing, looks good, looks good. We played in Upper Montclair a couple of times, and I noticed when we come along the hole where the parkway is at, there's no traffic. Till I saw John swing and hit a ball, they put it right in the middle of the parkway. So they block off the parkway and Route 3 when John's up at Upper Montclair. He begged me on several occasions to take him up to Forest Hills. And I ran out of excuses. So I take him up. I said, "John, you know, I've been there 10 years. I have a pretty good reputation." No, nothing's going to happen. We go out, we play the front nine. I played the front nine, used 1 golf ball. John played the front nine, used 48 golf balls. We're coming up the 9th hole, get to the 10th tee, and I see the groundskeeper going like this. "Me?" He said, "Mr. Petito, could you do me a favor?" I said, "Anything, Jeff. What would you like?" He said, "The next time you bring this guy up, let me know. I'll put down AstroTurf." I looked around to the front nine, and I couldn't believe what I saw. But at a golf outing, I ran into 2 hockey players, Tommy Chorsky and Billy Guerin. They both play for the New Jersey Devils. So I said, "If you ever want to play Forest Hills, please give me a call. I'd like to have you up as my guest." So John overheard and right away comes over and says, "Can I go? Can I go? Can I go? Can I go?" "Yeah, sure, John, you can come." I said, "I'll call you." "I don't need a lot of notice." I said, "You won't get any." So the day comes, and I had invited these 2 fellas, and Evie comes in the store and says, "Could you do me a favor?" And she says, "He's really wants to play golf with those 2 guys." She said, "Would you take them, please?" I said, "Okay." She said, "If you don't, I'm bringing Robert to your house." And I'll tell you, that is a fear. There's the kid we should have roasted. There's the one. You should have bought Robert Cali, and you would have had 4 rooms filled. I got to just go wait just a second. He comes in the store, he walks in, he goes right behind the counter. And he starts pulling the candy off the counter, and and of course, he's a great kid. I mean, you got to love this kid. You got to love this kid. He threatens you if you don't love him. I mean, So one day he comes in, and out Evie and Robert go, and about 5 minutes later, Evie comes back, and she says to me, "Do you have $half?" I said, "Yeah, I have $half. How many do you have?" I said, "They're right here under the..." Little Robert decided it was time to take $half along with the candy. But anyway, I called John and said, "John, we're going to play with Billy Guerin and Tommy Chorsky." "Oh, that's great." We got up to Forest Hills. And as these two boys come up, you got to understand, these are professional hockey players, two good-looking kids, 23 years old, 25 years old. And all the girls come running out of the clubhouse. Everyone wants an autograph, who doesn't want a picture, and they were very, very gracious. So we get up to the first tee. We all hit the ball. Not all of us hit the ball. 3 of us hit the ball. 1 swung at the ball and said a word, magnificent fellow, I think was what the word you were using. So as we're riding around the course, John is trying to impress these fellows about hockey, his knowledge of hockey, and how much he really enjoys it. You know, he was surprised it was played on ice, but other than that, he keeps telling these two guys, who he assumes now, because they play with the New Jersey Devils, they come from New Jersey. And he keeps telling them how much he hates Canadians. And I'm looking up to the guy and I'm saying, you know, how could you hate a Canadian? But he's gone, "I hate Canadians. Hate them. Worst people in the world. Hate them." Well, now I'm watching these two guys and they're getting like red in the face. So finally on the 5th hole, Billy Guerin turns to Johnny and he says, "Why do you hate Canadians?" Well, John, showing us his knowledge, says, "Because there's only 2 kinds of people that come out of Canada: whores and hockey players." So Billy Guerin says, "My mother's from Canada." John says, "No kidding. What team does she play for?" Now, John's golf game is not just known in New Jersey, it's international. I, fortunately, was not here there at this particular incident, but it was relayed to me, and it didn't shock me one bit. He's playing in Bermuda.
Yeah, Frank was there.
Frank was there. And on one particular hole, if you've ever played in Bermuda, and it's the most gorgeous place, there's cliffs, and offside on the other end of the cliffs is the sand, where people actually go to and swim and enjoy themselves. Well, John gets up on this particular hole, takes his famous swing, and he hits his famous slice that goes out over the fairway, over the cliff, onto the beach. Now, yeah, it was the second shot. Now you have to understand something. John doesn't like to lose golf balls, so he says, "I'm going to find this one." So they drive off down onto the beach, and they see, as they're approaching the beach, a crowd. And as they look down, they notice a young married woman with a golf ball in her ear. So John, being the gentleman that he is, realizes that this person is hurt, walks over, says to the husband, "I am the fellow that hit the golf ball." He says, "I'm very sorry." He says, "What did they say? Is she all right?" He said, "Well, we don't know yet. She's still unconscious." So John says, "Look, I feel terrible." He said, "What I would like you to do," he says, "I'm from New Jersey, and I own a big disposable company in New Jersey." He says, "I'm going to leave you my card. If there's any injuries or damage or anything, please notify me. And with that, John takes out the card and hands it to the husband. The husband says, okay, Mr. Fiore, if anything happens, I'll call you. And now, I just, you know,
You're doing terrific.
you got, keep quiet, I'm talking.
You'll be done by 11 o'clock.
I got to say one thing about John, in all honesty. If you ever need a friend, and a true friend, it's Johnny Cali. And I know people who have said to me, you know, all you have to do is go up to John and say, John, I'm in a little bind. And John puts his hand in his pocket, doesn't ask a question, and just hands you the money. And nothing proved it more than only a couple of months ago, while working in his office late at night. Two people that John has never met just walked up to John in the office and went like this, and John went like this, and he said, before you leave, why don't you take the phones? Thank you very much.
Good job, Joey. I told you he was great. Our next roaster, and after that we will have dinner, is a very close friend of the Cali family, Sergeant Butchie Connors. Sergeant? Lieutenant, sorry.
He was sergeant when you were there.
Sorry. I asked Leo, he told me you were sergeant.
Get me a sergeant again.
I got the memo from the mayor. It was bad enough he threw me out of the detective bureau. Now I'm a sergeant. Now I know why I wanted to go first. Joey Petito, I only got a couple of things to say. You go second. Well, here I am. I'm embarrassed. I can't follow that. All right? But the first thing I'd like to know, I'm born and raised in Kearney, 37,000 people. It's a predominantly Scotch and Irish town. There wasn't one Scotch or Irish guy in all those people they're going to roast. Only Italians. Only Italians. And Petito goes first, and they send the Irish guy second. Well, I know John a little longer than Joe. Since I was about 15 years old, I worked for John's father at the Esso. That's how long ago. Kearney Esso. And John's father was a unique individual. And anybody who knows him would know that. He was a man's man, and if you did anything wrong, he would just kill you. Well, I worked Saturday afternoon from 3 to 11 and all day Sunday from 7 in the morning to 11 at night with another guy by the name of Tommy Dunn. His nickname John gave him was Peanuts. I'd like for him to be here. Unfortunately, last year he died fighting a fire. He could tell these stories better than I could, but he was a piece of work. Well, as all son would be, whose father owns a business, when Mr. Cali would leave, John was the boss. So one Saturday afternoon, Mr. Cali comes and says he's going out with Dolores, which is Mrs. Cali, and to take care of everything. Told him no problem. He said, by the way, I got these 10 truck tires over there. I want you to fix them. But Mr. Cali had one rule. Do not fill the tires with air. These tires were big. You had to break them with a sledgehammer. It had these big collars. I'm not a mechanic, but I could do this. So we fixed the tires. Mr. Cali leaves. Well, John shows up. And Mr. Cali used to wear this one-piece overall. And I guess he wanted to be a lot like his father. His father would hang it up. Mr. Cali would leave. John would come. John would put it on. So we get all the tires all done. And we're out working on the island because you had to clean them. And John comes. John says, bring the tires inside. I said, John, your father doesn't want anybody to fill those tires with air but him. Okay? No, when my father leaves, I'm in charge. You do what I say. Okay. Hey, it's the boss's son. What are you going to do? So we bring the tires in. He goes inside. We got the lifts up in the air because you have to clean the bays. And he's inside. All of a sudden we hear, ba-boom! What the hell was that? So we go inside, and there's John. He's laying on the ground. His arm is over here like this, right? And the only thing he could say is, "Don't tell my father." Right? So now I look at Peanuts. I said, "Call the ambulance." He goes, "Mr. Cali's going to kill us. Mr. Cali's going to kill us. Call the ambulance." Well, lo and behold, the cops come. Police, I have to say. They come. The ambulance comes. They take him away. So this Peanuts, he's like crazy. Mr. Cali's going to... So John said, "Don't tell him. We're not going to tell him." So about 3 hours later, in comes the white station wagon. And it's Mr. Cali, and he is hot. He gets out of the car. He goes, "Butchie, what the hell happened?" "Mr. Cali, I don't know." So now he's got me by the shirt. My feet are dangling and everything. "What do you mean you don't know?" "I don't know what happened." "What do you mean? John's up the hospital, his arm's over here like that." "What was he doing?" "Well, he goes in the garage and he sees the truck tires." "What did I tell you?" I said, "Mr. Cali, you told me, but you didn't tell John." "You know the way John is. He don't listen for shit. Don't ever listen to John." So a few months go by, and Mr. Cali's working on another car. It's a big Plymouth, and I'm not a mechanic, as I tell you, and he had me do the important things. Like when John wasn't there, I was John. Like, "Butchie, come in and start the car." That's what I did. So he's working on his car. I started. It's like a little bit of a fire by the carburetor. So he puts a cup over it, puts it out. He says, "Can't fix it today. I'll fix it Monday. Help me push it out." So we push the car out, me, him, and Peanuts. We put it on the side. He says, "When a woman comes from the car, you tell her Monday." "Okay, fine." Well, you know what's going to happen now. In comes the mechanic. Puts on the thing. "All right, boys, put the car in the garage." I said, "John, your father said, leave the car to Monday." No, he sent me down here to fix it." "Okay." So we push the car in the garage. Put it right in the garage, right? There's the mechanic at work. He gets poor Peanuts because he knows better. He knows I won't start no car because his father will kill me again. He's got Peanuts, click, click. Next thing I hear, "Fire! Fire!" I have never seen a ball of fire this big. Now, when he closes the hood, the paint has melted off the front of this car. Right down to the metal, it's melted down. So now what does he do? "Let's push it back outside. And don't tell my father." You got it. You got it. I'll never tell your father. So we push it over. About 5:30, the woman comes for her car. Now, John's got a horse blanket over the front, right? So I got to, being a liar now, because I'm hanging out with John a long time, I got to be a liar, right? I go, "Oh, ma'am, your car's not ready." "Well, what's that blanket on the hood of my car?" "Mr. Cali's got it there so no grease gets on it. If she ever takes it off, she'll die." So, make a long story short, the next morning, it's like 7 o'clock, Mr. Cali shows up, because he's going to get the parts, he's going to fix it. He goes, "Butchie, what's the blanket?" "Oh," I said, "we put it on there before." I said, "Because there was some grease on it." "Okay." He says, "Help me push it in." Well, now I don't know what to say, right? He takes the blanket off. He'd like to have a heart attack. "What the hell did you do?" Again, it's me. "I didn't do anything, Mr. Cali." Up in the air again, my feet going like this, right? Now, Peanuts, he's gone up Johnson Avenue. He's not even hanging around. He's gone, right? So after a couple of shakes, I said, "John was here yesterday." "That son of a bitch, what did I tell you?" Right? Well, Junior had to come down that morning to give the answers. So a couple more months go by, and every Monday you got paid, and Mrs. Cali would pay you. So we come in on Monday, and she said to me, "Butchie, you're $8 short." $8 short? "Yep, you're $8 short. It's got to come out of your pay." Now, we're getting $1 an hour. So that's 8 hours that's gone, right? Okay. So I'm blaming Peanuts. "What are you doing? Buying beer? What are you doing with this?" "Oh, I didn't take it. Second week, it's $9. Third week, it's $7. This is impossible. Now I figure maybe Mr. Cali's fooling with the numbers, even though I know better, right? So I said, "Well, we'll take our own numbers when he's not looking." We write the numbers down, right? Next week, we're short again. This is like 4 weeks in a row. So the following Saturday night, I said to Peanuts, "We're going to go across the street. We'll watch." We go across the street. We close at 11, 11:30. Big Riviera pulls in, right? Out he comes. Right to the pump, full tank. He's taking the gas from us. Right? He's taking the gas. Now, you got to understand how John is dressed now, right? I'm 16, John's like 17. Got a beautiful girlfriend, Yvonne. What she ever saw in him, I don't know, right? But he's got the $500 outfit on, the white jacket, you know, remember with the little leather on there? You can only dream about. The pants, the silk socks, the basket weave, got the whole thing. And he also has, what his father didn't have, a manicure. Oh, John always had a manicure. He was perfect. So he's got his date, and it's 11 o'clock. He's probably going over to 21 to watch the races, and he takes a full tank of gas. So the next week comes Saturday, right? I said, John, I got to see you. That's the boss's son. But by now, you know, even though I'm Irish and I'm stupid, you know, now you're taking money. I said, John, I said, I saw you last week. I said, filling the gas up. It wasn't me. I said, John, I said, I saw you. You got the coat on, you got Ivy in the car and everything else. He goes, no, he goes, that's not true. I said, how could it not be true? You got a Riviera, right? Yeah. I said, me and Penis were across the street seeing you. He goes, oh, no. He goes, those pumps don't count in the numbers. I said, John, we write the numbers down. He goes, nah. He goes, not that pump. He said, it don't count. He said, my father don't count that. Yeah, I am Irish. I'm stupid. All right, John. You know, I'll let it go. So Monday comes, right? $7 again. So by this time, I'm pretty smart. Mr. Cali, I said, that pump over there. I said, is that in the numbers? Oh, Butchie, sure it is. I said, well, John owes you $7. That son of a bitch, he says. I never got the $28, though. So then time passes, and I left town. I went into service, and I came back, and I see John again. I went to school with Ellen and Doreen, so I knew them. And I see John down at the Little League. His son and my son plays together. And we're down there, and if you're ever at the Little League, you have to look for John, because it's the greatest thing. We're there one day, and little Robert, who is a piece of work, he wants little Jimmy. So John goes, look, little Jimmy guy, right? And he gives him what everybody gives a little Jimmy guy, a $100 bill. So the little Jimmy guy says, well, I can't change it. So John says, well, give everybody a little Jimmy, and, you know, whenever you get the change, you give it to me. So we're at the Northfield, right? The guy says, well, you know, it's like $93 back. He said, I don't have it. John says, well, drive around the Oval and give some little Jimmies. So about an hour later, the guy comes back, gives him $6. He says, I give everybody in the Oval a little Jimmy. Right? So as a host, John is really the greatest. I mean, and that's no lie. If you're ever in his company. Steve's Steakhouse, they got the recipe from John. It's not vice versa. So he has us over for dinner. There's like 6 couples, and he's got the steaks and the Caesar salad, the best anywhere. It takes him 3 hours to make it, but it is the best, I have to admit. So he says to Yvonne, feed the kids, and then we'll eat. So Yvonne feeds all the kids and everything. John says, now, you know, go down the basement, the adults are going to eat. They're not down there 3 minutes, and the floor is moving in John's house, right? So John, being a lot like he says, like his father with the strong hand, right? I'll take care of these kids. Down he goes, right? I said, oh boy, they're in trouble. I said, John, if it's my son or my daughter, just whack them, don't worry about it. So he goes down the basement, right, and I hear him. Now kids, please be nice. Don't fight, right? That's not too bad, all right? Not like his father, but it's not too bad. So he comes up 10 minutes later, right? They're rumbling again, right? I said, John, I said, you know, I'm going to have to get him. No, I'm going to get him this time, right? He goes down there, right? Now, listen, kids, I told you, you have to be nice. Here's $5 for you, $5 for you, $5 for you. Right? So about 20 minutes later, they're going crazy. I look down. Young John's got 5 guys in full football. They're playing tackle. Some other kids emptying a hot water heater out. I said, John, you better go down with 50s this time and beat them. And that brings me to the greatest time I had with John, 4th of July. All right? You have never seen a party like he throws. You know, and his kids do have it rough, too. They wake up down the shore, looking out at the Matita Conch. I mean, it's pretty rough, you know? So we go over there, and there's about 30 people there, and there's really nothing to do. It's pretty boring there. He's got a big boat for, like, sightseeing. He's got another boat for skiing. They got another wave runner. They got a pool, and they got a paddle boat. But besides that, it's pretty boring, right? So the kids are all going crazy, and every 4th of July night, he puts on a fireworks display. And I tell you, better than the town of Kearney, you know? It's big, it's gigantic. So this one particular year, we go there. Kids all had a ball, sits everybody down. John starts the fireworks. First one, it's Great. Second one, third one don't go up. John looks in, hits him square in the face. Now, I got to tell you, I'm a cop, it's one of the scariest things. I thought he was blind. I couldn't believe this happened. His face, he goes, it's okay, it's okay. John, it's not okay. We got to go to the hospital. So we go out the driveway, my heart's pumping, get in the car. He goes, wait, he goes, where you going? I said, John, I said, we got to go to the hospital. He goes, yeah, he goes, you stay here and just light up some little ones so the kids don't get bored. I said, John, you're near death. So now we drive over to the hospital, and all the way over again, it's just like his father. Don't tell him it's fireworks. What do you want me to tell him, John? Tell him I was lighting the fire, the backflash. I'll tell him anything that you want, John, right? So we get over to the hospital, we walk in, right? The first girl, she's not even a nurse, she just takes the information, she goes, oh, fireworks, huh? What are we gonna tell her now, John? Unbelievable. Then, of course, like, I don't know about you people, but I do. How many people here call a cab to get you cigarettes and movies? How many people? Come on, raise your hand. Put your hand up. Here's a man that calls the cab company. Now, usually it's when Yvonne's down the shore, see? And he's sitting home, he's a little hungry, he's got no cigarettes. Carney cab, yeah. Send a cab over, but on the way, stop at the movie store, see if you can get such and such, right? Right? So now, get a movie, cigarettes, right? Oh, and by the way, go to Wing Hans and pick up $4 of Chinese food. Right? But it gets better. The next night, what do you think? Send a cab to my house first to bring the movie back, then get the cigarettes and the Chinese food. All right, now, another one of John's greatest things, right, is his driving. If you want to go anywhere, you go with John. Like tonight, the reason I didn't come with him tonight is because what would have happened at 10 to 7 is Yvonne would have called and said, we're a couple of minutes late. I would say, Yvonne, where is he, right? He's getting a suit. Well, where is he getting a suit at 10 to 7? We're leaving at 7. He'll be back, he's getting a suit. Sure enough, he gets the suit. He must go up to this guy's place. He must go up to this guy's place. He got the Petito suit. But he gets there. Now he gets in the car, and it's like, John, we're 20 minutes late. Don't worry about it. How about the Meadowlands? Did you ever try and beat the traffic in the Meadowlands? Forget about it. John can do it. Over a barricade, over steps, over anything, John's right there. First one in. And he's also the first one out. But now, mind you, you can't wear a seatbelt because no matter which way you are, you're moving in the car. And he never drives looking forward. He's always looking behind him. Can I help you? I thought I got a drink. He's never looking forward. He's got the 50 musics on, and he's looking in the back the whole time. Now, it brings me to what Joey Petito said, because this was my action. I'm watching the O.J. trial, and I'm listening to him say, who would murder somebody in $400 Italian shoes? And they have a good point. All of a sudden, I remembered one day, John was working for Father Bill up at the Boys Town, and I'm going up there to see him, and he's running the backhoe, and it's muddy, and he sees me, turns the backhoe off, he jumps off, right, and he walks over, and I'm looking at his feet. I said, John, what the hell you got on? $400 Italian shoes. And I mean, these babies are muddy, too. Well, with that, Yvonne pulls in with the car, going to see John. He does what I would have done, too. Stuck my feet right in the mud. Yvonne don't even know he's got those $400 Italian shoes on. To this day, she probably don't know he's got them on. So therefore, you know, maybe John's a suspect. Maybe he's a suspect. In closing, though, I'd like to talk about John's luck, because John is a very, very lucky person. That I will tell you. Besides Yvonne, he's a very lucky person. We're going to play golf one day, and we stop at, of course, the Sunset Deli. Big plug, I might get coffee for free, but I doubt it. Never. Right? We got to stop in here because John's got to get cools, coffee, and he's got to play the picket. Well, he plays 5-4-0-0 15 times straight. He says that number's going to come in. Well, we drive up to the golf course because we're late. John can't find a parking spot. He backs in. He hits the hydrant, rips the side of the car, and knocks the hydrant over. Good day so far anyway, right? We go to the golf thing. Next day, no 5,400. Well, the next day comes, and I'm watching the picket, 5,400. He's got to have it. I call, beep him on the phone. John, where you at? I'm at the Meadowlands with Robert at the hockey game. I said, you got the picket, don't you? Not a nickel. Not. I said, John, what's 50 grand amongst friends, right? Didn't even care, right? So his luck continues. The next time we go to a golf tournament, and Bobby Reed, he's there somewhere, closest to the pin. The year before we go to this thing, they give out cars, colored TVs, VCRs. So John hits this 195-yard shot. Petito won't believe it, but he did. 13 inches from the hole. I said, John, you got to be a winner. So we mark the thing down, we play on. At the end of the day, we come in. There's the thing 13 feet. Who did it? Bobby Reed. Thinks he's a funny guy. This guy's going to get a colored TV or a car. So we change it back to 13 inches. We go to the dinner. They call his name. I figured this is going to be great. He got a 13-inch trophy. And his name wasn't even on it. Right? 13 inches. But his luck goes back further. When John started the business, John is a hard-working guy. A couple of trucks, he worked on them, he drove the trucks, he did everything. Only his luck would have it that Ellen comes home and says, I'm marrying Andy Fury. Right? The one guy for the competition got 100 trucks, he's going to marry. And know what she says? And we got more trucks than you, John. But I tell you, John is consistent because his luck holds true to today. How many people here are lucky enough to have two of your closest friends running for mayor at the same time? I mean, does it get any better than that? I mean, who could be luckier than John? But on a serious note, I'll finish now, everybody's hungry. I've known John 25 years, and you wouldn't find a bigger-hearted, soft guy in your life than John. I have to say to you that it's a real privilege to be his friend, and I wish him nothing but the best in his family because they're great people. Thank you.
Can we eat?
Excellent job, Captain. We'll be back after you enjoy your dinner. Thank you. He's been preparing for the last 3 months, and we expect nothing but the best. Town Attorney Norman Doyle Jr.
Thanks, Dave. I want to thank you for putting everybody in such a festive, jocular mood after that introduction. You've never been funnier, and it's been a shame. Anyway, I'm a little nervous here. I'm getting my notes ready. Anytime you're asked to do a roast of someone in the karting industry, you damn well better be funny. So, Gary, your job is to look over there and make sure he's laughing at my jokes. Usually, we roast the ones we love. Tonight, we're going to depart from that tradition and roast John Cali, Jr. I'd like to welcome you all to tonight's festivities. We're going to call it, I've Got a Secret, the career of John Cali and Cali karting. Seriously, I've known John the boy, I've known John the man. And like you all, I've come to the same conclusion. He was a pain in the ass as a boy, he's a pain in the ass as a man. I think I met him in 3rd grade, and as you know, he was different from other kids. He was 14. He got promoted to the 4th grade. He was so excited he cut himself shaving. But he looks today the same as he did 30 years ago, hungover. Which leads me to his drinking problem that nobody wants me to talk about, but I'm going to talk about it anyway. But he's conquered it, so I can talk about it. He got tired of waking up in Colorado with a big mohawk And I'm not talking about the haircut, I'm talking about a big mohawk, about 6'4", friendly fellow. The only guy I know who could walk into a grandfather clock and call up his wife and get an answer. Of course, she wouldn't give him the right time of day either. He only got in trouble one time. He was accused of flashing on Kearny Avenue. One of his drunken binges, they brought him down to police headquarters, put him in a lineup. He came down and he said, "That's her." But then he got married and leveled off, and I remember his firstborn. Those screams of joy, I can hear them today. Screams of joy from John. And that was just during conception. You could have heard them 9 months later. Before the cocktail hour, I was admiring Ivy's diamond. And I said, "That's a beautiful diamond, Iv. You must be very lucky." She says, "Not really, because that is the great Cali diamond. And with that goes the Cali curse." And I said, "Ooh, what's that?" She said, "John." But he has a secret. I asked him, "John, what is the secret of a happy marriage? Because you've truly been successful at that." He said, "It's very easy. We're both in love with the same man." The other night he said, "Davey, you know, when I shave in the morning, it's such a great feeling. I feel 10 years younger." She said, "I wish you'd shave at night." And then his career. We have to touch on his career. 20 years ago, as many of you know, he started out in the circus, and it was a menial job. He was shoveling behind the elephants. You know, he started out low, and after about 6 years of that, I remember having lunch with him one day, and I said, "John, you know, it's time to move on. You know, you've started at the lower echelon, but you can do better and get in the karting business." He said, "What, and quit show business?" But he's been a success in the karting industry. He's been to the karting industry what the Boston Strangler has been to door-to-door salesman. True story. One joke, we're walking along the beach. John and I kicked a bottle. A genie popped out. The genie said, "John, you have one wish. I'm not one of these 3-wish genies. You have one wish, so make it good." He thought long and hard, and he took out a map from his pocket, and he said, "If I only have one wish," he said, "here's the Middle East. Here's Egypt, Syria, Israel, Jordan. He says, these people have been fighting for hundreds, thousands of years. If I can only have one wish, I want you to bring peace to the Middle East." And the genie thought long and hard and said, "You know, that's a little bit too much even for me. I'm good, but nobody's been able to do that. So why don't you think of another wish that maybe I could handle?" So John says, "Well, I'm going in the karting business in the state of New Jersey, and I want to be the biggest karting company in the state of New Jersey." And Jeannie said, "Karting business, New Jersey?" He said, "Isn't that where, like, if you bid at the wrong town, they blow up your house and everything?" And he said, "But it doesn't matter. I want to be the biggest karting business in the state of New Jersey." Jeannie said, "Let me have that map of the Middle East again." Like the genie, I know when to shut up. I'm going to sit down. I hope he's been laughing. Thanks a lot.
No, you guys all lie. Nobody's prepared. Every one guy, you guys is funny. Oh, just like you. I don't know nothing.
I know, it's unbelievable. Please. Please. Bickering, it's unbelievable. Our next roaster, Unico's Man of the Year, Mr. Andy Fury.
Here we go. I gotta tell you, since I got involved with this Cali family, it's really been an experience. It's unbelievable some days. I don't know how I got up here to talk tonight, because it usually isn't me doing this talking up here. But being John said I had to do it this morning, so I have to try today. Right? Butchie and everyone got their speeches ready. I didn't have mine ready. Well, when I first started going to this Cali family on the Pleasant Place here, John used to lay around the house there and not do too much. And his father used to say, "Hey, John, what are you going to do? What are you going to do?" And I used to see him saying, I didn't say too much. I sat on the couch, and then I took off with Ellen, and I left. And he said nothing. He didn't do nothing. But then all of a sudden, he became involved in the garbage business with Keegan. And now he's going to be the John Gotti of the garbage business. And he did think he is the John Gotti of the garbage business. He's going to run it, right, Chester, out there? He's going to run the garbage business. So now, first experience I really learned with him is he said, "You got to come and take a ride with me in this garbage truck." I said, "Okay, John, I'll go with you, no problem." I said, "Where are we going?" He says, "Just take a ride, I got to show you." So I said, okay. So he's driving. He's not really a good driver in the garbage truck. And we're heading out to Belleville Pike. I said, "Well, John, where the hell are we going?" "No, don't worry. Just sit there. Watch. We're going." We pull around the corner to the jail. And there's a big picket line with all the guards. He says, "We got to cross that and go pick up the garbage." I said, "John, you got to let me out here. I'm not going in there." He says, "No, this is for my father. You got it. You're going to be his son-in-law. You got to do it." I said, "John, here we go." We go right through all the officers. Now, they got guns. We got a big garbage truck. They're hitting the truck. I said, "John, we can't do this." "Yes, we got it. My father said we got to do it." So we back in. I said, "John, I'm not getting out." He says, "You got it. I don't know how to dump the container yet." Now, we leave there, and they're chasing us as we're going. I look in the mirror on the side, and I said, "John, they're coming." He said, "No, don't worry. I'll get us out of here." We go to the garage. We park the truck. I figure everything's all right. We go to Egan's. We have a hamburger or a hot dog, right? He calls me the next morning. He said, "Listen, I got a problem." This is not just the first time. After this, there was a lot of problems after this. He says, "We got a problem." He said, "What happened?" He said, "They shot all the radiators in all my trucks the next morning." Right? Yeah. So that was the beginning. And I knew it was a problem from that day on. He's in the garbage business, and I got to help him out. Then I remember Ellen telling me that he bought a house, and he's going to fix it up himself. And Mr. and Mrs. Sarcone have to be a saint to let him live in his house for 2 or 3 years by the time he fixes his house. So I said to Gary one day, "Gary, let's go see what's going on." I said, "But Gary, we can't get in. The key, the door's probably locked. He's got everything being fixed now." He said, "No, he leaves the key in the lock so he don't lose it." Now he's in the garbage business, so most garbage men, Johnny, Chester, everybody gets up 4 or 5 o'clock in the morning because you got to get the garbage early. Well, when John lived at Mr. and Mrs. Sarcone's house, he used to get in the bathtub about 9 o'clock and put the TV on in the bathroom, in the bathtub, while he watched TV. Right? Unbelievable. So I don't know how Mr. and Mrs. Sarcone did it. Then we had some experience with these Bally shoes. Oh, these shoes are... He doesn't wear work shoes. He's the only garbage man that doesn't wear work shoes. He has to wear these Bally shoes. So one time, I don't really know too much about him, but he says, "You got to come with me. We're going to buy them." Now we're going to New York to buy these shoes. It's right, I don't know, what street is it on, John? Madison Avenue. 50. Oh, he knows the thing. He has a pair that he wore through the landfill, through all the landfill fires, because he wasn't wearing. He said that, "And I'm bailing so much here, I could wear 2 pair of Bally's a day." So after the fire, We go- Yeah. After the fire, he goes over here with these bad shoes. The heel fell off. The sole's all burnt off. He puts them on the counter. He says, listen, dear, I got to show you. I'm going to bring you pictures. I got the bally shoes lined up in my room. In no thing. I want to show you pictures. You got to give me a new pair. I just bought these. But the lady says, oh, look at them. They're all messed up. Where'd you wear them? I had the little fire job I had to do, so I had to get in there. But they're brand new. Now he could do fires, so we go to do a job one time in Hackensack. And it's a big job with all these big containers, big tanks. And footings in the ground must have been about 20 stories below ground. And I said, John, do you think we could do this job? No problem. Here we go, no problem. We get up there one night, and it was really late on a Saturday afternoon. And our machine breaks while we're doing the job. Now, we're doing it for another construction company that are building a new BJ's in here. So I said, John, we're going to have to stop now. He said, no, we're going to take that guy's machine. I said, no, John, we better not take that guy's machine. No, we're going to use his machine tonight, right, Gar? Well, okay, John, just as long as you don't run it. No, I can run it. Now, it's real late. It's about 2 o'clock, 3 o'clock. We're getting done on a Saturday afternoon, figuring we'll come back Monday. John used the machine 5 minutes and ripped the guy's bucket off his machine. He said, and we got a problem. I said, I can see it, John. And he was laughing like hell. And it wasn't our machine. He said, you have welders? I said, yeah, I got welders. He said, well, you better call them. We stayed till 4 in the morning to weld this guy's machine, to fix the bucket. And then he takes the mud and puts it on the weld, the new weld. So he says, oh, he'll never knew we used it. He's a dumb. They're all true. Everything is true. Ain't no lies to these. Now we're going to get A. Fury & Sons gets a cleanup job up in Alpine. An older gentleman must have passed away, and his family wanted this house cleaned up. So I said, oh, maybe John will go to a lot of antiques, an older fellow. He says, and I'll do it, but don't let no one enter the house till I get there. I want to see everything. I don't want no one to touch any antiques, because he's a nut for antiques. He wants every antique, and he don't want no one to put nothing in the dumpster until he goes through it. I said, John, we got to empty this whole big house. I still got to go through everything, because there could be valuable things here. That's another one. Then, well, when John was little and Andy, we started going to the Super Bowls. And now we're going to let him do the driving, and we're going to go rent the car when we get off. At the first Super Bowl, I think, was in Tampa Bay, right? Yep. And we were up in North Florida somewhere, and he goes to rent the car. And he says to the lady says your name and everything. He says, I said, I'll put it under my name. He said, no, put it under my name. I said, why? He said, no, just put it under my name. I said, okay. He goes to the lady. No. He goes to the lady, he says, listen, do you want this, you want that? Yeah, and she says to the insurance, do you want insurance? He says, put as much as you got on this car, because I'm going to wreck it. And we got a brand new Cadillac, and he did wreck it. In Florida, we wrecked a brand new Cadillac with 200 miles. In Minnesota, he had a brand new Lincoln. He knocked the back bumper off when he hit the snowbank. Knocked it right off the car. And then he gave the keys that night when we were in the room. He said to John, and Andy, here, you could go drive it in the snow. But he said, don't tell Ivy, because she'll get mad. Don't tell Ivy. Now we're in Florida, the first Super Bowl. And after the Super Bowl, the day after the Super Bowl, we go to, I think, Busch Gardens. And when we come out of Busch Gardens, across the road, it says fireworks. That's now when he's a firework nut now. We're going there to get fireworks. So all of a sudden, I see the two kids go in. They're looking around, getting little stuff. There's ash cans, cherry bombs, everything on the thing. I said, what the hell is this to the lady? She says, oh, that guy's getting. I took them all, and I gave them all back. So now he has all these fireworks. He's throwing them in the car. He's throwing them in front of us on cars. Don't tell Ivy. Don't tell Ivy. He's telling John, and Andy, don't tell Ivy. Don't tell Aunt Ivy, Jan. So now there's a gentleman on the telephone, and he has a pack of firecrackers. So he just throws them by his feet. So he tells me, make a right, Ann, make a right. It was a dead-end street. And the guy's on the phone when we come out. He says, Ann, we got a problem. Then we were in another Super Bowl, and it was like about 2 o'clock in the morning. He wants to go gambling. Somewhere we were at an Indian reservation. They're allowed to gamble. I said, no, John, I really like to go to bed, and tomorrow we'll get up early and we'll go do something. No, we got to go gambling. So now he has to find this place. It's like an hour away from our hotel. We got to go gambling at this Indian reservation, teepees, everything, and he's losing. He's losing, so he's not real happy, and he has a few drinks, and he's not happy now. So now he's going to start getting loud, real loud in this place. I said, John, take it easy, take it easy. So now he says, no, Ian, one more time we're going to go in the back and we're going to do the big wheel. Here we go. He starts winning, and winning good. He's yelling. He has the whole place at the end of the night going crazy. All the Indian people coming around looking at him and everything. I said, John, take it easy. They're going to take all our money anyway off us. We were there. Then now we're going to leave. And when we came, all the luggage fit in the car, but when we're leaving, he has to stack everything real neat. He has to buy everything in a place. So now the luggage don't fit in the car. So we get it in the car, and the trunk is open, just like the Brady Bunch, and the trunk is open, and the luggage is hanging. He's got it tied down, and we're going to the airport. We get to the airport. It's an airport where you rent the car is over here, and then you have to take a shuttle to the airport. And there's no shuttle, so you just take like a little bus. So he says, I can't do that. I said, what do you mean you can't do that? That's what everybody does. He said, no, we can't do it. He says, the Avis guy's going to ride us. I said, no, the Avis guy can't ride you. Because he got the little computer there, and he's punching out your ticket and tells you how much you owe and everything. He says, no, that guy's got to ride us to the front of the airport. I said, no, Avis don't do that. You leave the car here and you catch the bus. Sure enough, the guy, here's 20, 30, ride us to the front of the The guy, all the cars were behind us. They had to wait till the guy came back. He rode us to the front of the airport. Yeah. When we get to the front of the airport, his favorite person must be there, Muhammad Ali. Oh, he's got to take pictures all day with him, with Muhammad. Oh, you're the best champ. You're my guy. When we were going into the Super Bowl, he met Dionne Warwick. Oh, you're my favorite. He sang to her. All the people around were laughing. If I see you walking by, he's singing. Here, I'm selling my tickets. He said, I'm done. I got enough of this. Now, another deal he gets me into, right? We're going to go into the movie business. And a couple guys here are going into the movie business with us. Right? He says, Ann, give me $3,300. In 1-2 weeks, I'm going to triple your money, get back $10,000. Don't tell Ivy, though. Don't tell Ivy this one. This is a problem. Not for me this time, for you. Well, after the movie deal, it was like 10,000, 10,000. I said, John, I thought we were making money back in 2 weeks, 3,300. We're tripling it. Well, we got a little bit of a problem on this one. Now the movie deal's suing us, so we got real big problems. And one I was doing, we were going to the jail before they knocked the jail down. All the Calis are going to go over there and get a nice plaque and key, a part of the jail for their father and everything. So we're all going to be on time. I was the only one that had to go. That was a son-in-law or daughter-in-law. I had to go, right? Everybody else, just the Calis were going. So why did I get involved? I don't know. And you got to be here on time, on time. Okay, what time? Be here 9 o'clock because it's 10 o'clock. You sure? Yeah, positive. We go there. No one's in front of the jail. All the men are still working. Where's all the ceremony? Oh, it's at 1 o'clock, not 10 o'clock. We were there 4 hours ahead of time. The one and only. That's the only time we were on time. It was in the rain, and we were there ahead of time, 4 hours. One time we went to Atlantic City with John, to the League of Municipality. Now, John's going to have a few drinks on the way down, and John's going to have a few drinks there. And he says to the limo driver, I guess we were going down about 6 o'clock, and said we'll leave about 12 o'clock, 1 o'clock, and tell the limo driver to wait for us. Well, about 5 o'clock in the morning, the limo driver's still walking around the casino looking for us. Now, John has, no, he can wait, Aunt, he can wait. Okay, he's waiting. Now he's feeling no pain by the end of the night. He's hungry because we didn't eat because we were walking around and gambling and doing things. So now we go to the Roy Rogers on the Parkway on the way back.
You must have lost business.
Oh, yeah, we had to go to Roy Rogers. That's how bad it was. And with John, it's really bad because I never used a credit card in my life to get money, and it was the only time was with him. We have a problem. I swear I never did. He was the one who made me do it. It's unbelievable. I didn't even know how to do it. He said, come here, I'm going to show you. And Barbara, it's the truth. He said, he went with his card. He said, give me 2,000. Lady says, no, it's no good. He said, give me 1,500. He said, no, it's no good. He said, give me 1,000. Okay, that's good. Here's my 1,000. So we come to the Roy Rogers, and the guy was cleaning the floor. And you know, when he eats, he doesn't like no smells. He likes everything real nice. And the ammonia from the floor was a little tough. So now he was drinking, so when we go out, it said wet floor. So when we were leaving, he had the big soda. He got a giant soda. He had to have the biggest one in the place. Put it in his arm like this, and he had the bag, and he kicks the thing down the aisle. When he goes to kick it, he pops the soda, and the soda goes all out all over everything. So we get in the car, and we go home. We get to Kearney, and we get out, and we're ready to leave, and everybody's saying, well, okay, I'll see you in the morning. It's like 5, 6 o'clock, 7 o'clock in the morning next morning. He says, limo driver, get my shoe. Get my shoes. Limo driver gets one. He says, well, the second one ain't here. He said, yeah, it's got to be. He tears the whole limo apart. I think Roy Rogers, when he kicked the thing, he left his shoe in the Roy Rogers. He didn't even know. Yeah, they were Bowleys. They were ostrich Bowleys. They were the best. These were on sale at $400, he said. Right, Ev? Blue ones, nice ones. He lost them there, too. But all in all, it's been a lot of fun. He does get me into a lot of situations, but he's a hell of a brother-in-law. And every day is a new experience with the Callis. There's no doubt about it, but he's the best. Thank you.
Oh, they set you up big time. Oh, they set you up.
Great job, Andy. Great job for Andy. And Andy was worried about speaking. At this time, I'd like to call up Yvonne Cali to come up for a minute. We have a presentation. Carol Doyle, lifelong friend of the Cali family. She's over here. Please come up.
Don't tell everyone. I'm here. Don't tell me. Don't tell everyone. Don't tell me.
See you.
I think Ivvy's been the best sport tonight. It's kind of tough to sit and hear all these stories about your husband, and we took a vote at our table. Every story we've heard tonight, it's true.
Yeah.
That's unusual at a roast.
Congratulations. Thank you.
And I was remiss in not announcing former councilperson Barbara Thompson. And one of the highlights of the night, the young man's dad is here. Don, would you come forward, please? Don DiOrio. DJ's father.
Please don't clap for me. Please, I did nothing. You people did it all. I'd just like to thank John for sitting up here and getting abused all night long. I think it's great. I'd like to thank everyone in the Unico, especially Phil Caputo and Tony Estevez. I'd like to thank all of you because this is really amazing. This is something. And DJ would love to be here. He couldn't be here. He wanted to sit in the car and wait. But he couldn't because we can't have him in crowds yet. But thank you, and God bless you all. Thank you.
Thank you, Don. For the next 5 minutes, the young ladies will be going around selling 50-50 chances. Nino the Tailor has donated a $200 certificate. There will also be cash prizes. So please contribute as much as you can. Once that is done, we'll finish up with Mayor Vartan, Doreen Cali, and then, of course, our roastee, John Cali. So please contribute as much as you can. Be right back. Oh, yeah, right. Let me first mention, we forgot to mention John Cali's uncle, a very close friend of mine, a great guy, Donald Kelly. The young ladies who have picked the 50-50, Pam Lyons, Robin Esteves, Margie Caputo, and Stephanie Mastandria. Let's give them a round of applause. Yes, if anyone has not purchased a 50-50, please do so. All right, ladies and gentlemen, we're running late. However, let me say this, that the affair was supposed to be over at 11 o'clock. But Mr. Cali, our roastee, has agreed to pay for the difference between 11 and 12 to keep the bar open. All right, now if I get everyone's attention, we'll continue with the program. Before we call up Mayor Vartan and Doreen Cali, let me just mention one thing very quickly. I have a fellow who works with me, or shows up anyway for work, and he's our corresponding secretary in Unico. His name is Sam Graffio, and he speaks like this. Dave, are the cars being delivered today? He speaks in drawn-on sentences. So he was looking one day at the personal connections part of the newspaper, obviously looking for women who speak in long, drawn-out sentences. He said to me, Dave, there's a lot of corny phone numbers in the personal connections. So what I did was I cross-checked the phone numbers to the different personal connections that were in the newspaper. And I'd like to share them with you right now. For example, the first one is titled Broad-Shouldered. Dark, handsome Italian-American stud. Aspires to meet any and all big-butted women. The bigger the butt, the better. So all you big-butted women between the ages of 20 and 80, please call 201-997-1180, which is the store of Nino the Tailor. Here's another one. It's titled, OJ Has Nothing on Me. Handsome Latin lover, looking for mate to abuse and maim. You must be willing to try anything once. I'm the master of love torture. So if you're into leather, whips, chains, etc., call 201-991-2671. We'll give you directly Richie Farioli. Another one, alternative lifestyle. Straight looking but going gay all the way. That's the title. Not too tall, but dark and handsome political type. Seeks shapely man to spend quality time. Must be into cross-dressing. Be disease-free and like quiet romantic nights at home. Roughnecks are welcome. For the right guy, I'm willing to give away my heart. So please call the town hall, 201-991-2462, Mayor Leo Vartan. Without further ado, our next roastee, Mayor Leo Vartan.
Be faster, will you?
Hold on a minute, Lee, I'll get you a chair.
That was real amusing, Dave. Yvonne, not to be outdone, I have a plant for you if you would step up. Don't tell John it's a marijuana plant. It's all right, Evie, right? It's all right, Evie. Now, on behalf of the Republican Party or anyone which will accept me, I give you this plant you can take home with you. Thank you. You can keep these with your flowers.
Well, he's a strong man.
Pleasure to be at the Villa Capri and to honor a wonderful man like Dave Rollins. In fact, please do me a favor, Mister, I can't see with my eye. Could you please just do me one favor? Remove the camera from Dave, if you will. The last time he had a camera on him, he did 3 to 5. And you know who liked it the most? This goddamn Father Bill over here. One more drink, you'll be up to 600, Father. Don't forget what you promised. Tuesday, you'll be over my head. I certainly want to thank Joey Petito. We spent 18 years in school together. Joey, the last 8 in high school. And I felt it's such an honor when I first became mayor, really, to see people that I knew all my life and who I love, like Butchie Connors. I'll never forget. He was on the corner of Midland Avenue. He saluted me with his 5 fingers and his fingers to his hat. I felt so proud I'm the mayor. Now he salutes me with 1 finger. And of course, we know that's his middle finger. No, but believe me when I tell you, Butchie, no hard feelings, Patrolman Connors. Andy, congratulations. God bless you. I heard you just bought Ellen a gift. Texas. You were great, Andy, honest to God. Believe me, I want to appreciate everything you've done for me. You could have come up with a little more. And don't you laugh, Joe Neglia, so could you. You thought you were going to get away easy. It won't be. Lenny, so good to see you here tonight. Believe me, we'll talk later. Who else is behind me? Norm, what more can I say? On the way in, I heard confusion. Somebody was about to hang himself. Eddie Doyle asked him to be their partner in business. You didn't think I could do it yet, did you, Dave? By the way, I do have a Western Union for you, Dave. Not to keep picking on you, honest to God, I do. It says, miss you, haven't seen you for a long time. Things are still on sale, Richie Mace. My campaign manager said, there's nothing to lose. You've lost them all anyway. And Johnny, truthfully, I want you to know that not one bit, and I say this in front of everybody, it's only fair to say, not 1 ounce of politics went into your last contract. We both know that. Stivallo Brothers had the best bid for 5 years. Calabrese Brothers had the best bid for 4 years. Masucci Brothers had the best bid for 3 years. Cortinozzi Brothers had the best bid for 2 years. And Three Fingers Lucchesi had the best bid for 1 year. However, John Leadbeater found a clause in one of the contracts. John Cali had the best bid for March 13th for 3 minutes. And don't worry, Richie. Believe me when I tell you, a vote here or there, you can have 7 more hours at Club Kokomo. Now, when I tell you this sincerely, John, and it was my pleasure to help find that clause, because I think it's only right for all that you've done that we give you a $30.7 million contract. And the fact that my life has been threatened by every Italian on the East Coast means nothing. And to make matters worse, we had to find the secretary to fill in for part-time duty. We didn't know where to turn to. I received a phone call at my private number, which of course is still Dave's, and I heard a voice. I heard the voice of doom. They said, I don't know who it was Tommy Latinaccio or something like that. And they went, Doreen or else. And that's how Doreen Cali got the job. It was simple. The guy went, Doreen or else. Little did I know it was Andy Fiore. And we have to put politics aside, there's no question about it. But yes, Doreen, stop tugging on my arm after the election's over. It's full time, Jesus. It's not easy. It's just wonderful to be here. Nino, how are you? It's good to see you. Things are getting scary in one day. It's unbelievable. Teddy Naprawa and Nino DiPaolo made sense to me. Things are getting so bad, even Tony Cavalier moved back. He's trying to make a move on me. It's not easy being tall and at the top. Believe me when I tell you, but it is a wonderful evening. It's wonderful to be here. It's wonderful to be anywhere. Norm, are you smiling? I'll tell you this, Norm, not to say anything. It's a little uneasy with my back to you. Things are getting so bad, Les McCurry's smiling. No, sincerely, I think it's time for jokes to come to an end, and John, same with your contract. In fact, Evie just said today, she loves you so much, she said, does the son of a bitch have a will? No, she loves you, John, you know that. Everybody in this room loves you. What choice do we have? And, John, I didn't want to tell him this because God knows there's still time for flyers, but But I will say this. I do admit that time you took me to get the car refinished at Tweets and we played dice till 5 in the morning. Don't tell Evie. And it was good, John. Now I know how Really, I couldn't understand how lucky you were. Most of the people there couldn't read and write, and John just kept saying, I won. It's really marvelous to see all these people and the love in this room. There's more hate in this room than there is in... Bosnia is safer than in this room. Every time I look to the left, I see Reed sizing me up for the goddamn casket. You son of a bitch, I'll be alive and well Tuesday. No, it's been great, really. And Joey, you were magnificent. Nobody knew what you were saying, but you were magnificent. And Dave, you just keep smiling because what do you know? After all, what you've been through, again, please, Mr. Camry, he's shaking in his boots with that camera on him, please. He's had enough, believe me. And Dave, I ask you one favor from the bottom of my heart, and I mean this. You know how close we are, and I mean this sincerely. Take my sign down. Honest to God, the best favor you could do for me is put the other sign up. No. No. I just want to say sincerely, to be up here with men that have gone to at least grammar school like Joey, and Butchie, God bless you, I mean this from the bottom of my heart, why not? The most famous medical doctor in the world made $180,000, you made $500,000. Hey, it's only fair, why not? It's America, right, Bob? Check? No.
Well, let me get back up there now.
You will. And Norm, I don't know, I really don't like the way you're looking. I'm going to start talking like this. And Joe Russo, you're okay. The blood test came back negative. And don't you be smiling, Paglia. Your blood ain't so good either. I'm very, very happy to be here. I haven't said much about John because what good can you say? But truthfully, if there was ever a person that Carney should love and extend their arms to, it's John Cali. Whenever we need him, whenever we need him, he's there. Whenever we have a problem, he's there. Whenever there's trouble, he's there. And because you've always been there, John, that's why we're here tonight with our arms out, full of love. Everybody in this room loves you, including me. Thank you.
B plus. Our last roastee, Doreen Cali, John's sister.
I had a hard time figuring out where to begin. Came across a letter that my mother wrote April 9th, 1952 to my father, who was in the Army. And to show you how John's never changed, it says, one sentence says, John is a riot. He laughs so hard he shakes. He sleeps good. And Joe Petito mentioned making a stone and putting one of John's famous sayings on it. I'd like to add one more little phrase that John starts every sentence with. And that's swear to God. Everything he says is, I swear to God. Butchie mentioned how he worked in the gas station. My father had a gas station across from the library before he started on Johnson Avenue. And John first started working there. There used to be a little silver thing that bus drivers wore, and you used to flip to give change. And John used to wear this and go up to all the cars and give out the change. Then he became an altar boy. And that didn't last very long. And only for the fact is when he was collecting the money, he tripped on the gown and dropped the money all over the church. Butchie mentioned the truck tire. After John blew up the tire and spent a week in the hospital, he went on to construction work, and he was always getting hurt. One day he worked with my ex-husband, Boo, and it was the first time he worked with a jackhammer. And naturally, he had just started dating Ivy. So he had to go to a phone booth and call Ivy so she could hear the jackhammer. When he hung up, he slipped with the jackhammer and had to get 7 stitches in his leg. At that time, he decided to go get business cards made up. Doodaloo John Cali. He then went on to start in the garbage business. But what they neglected to tell you was when he was driving the roll-off, he was driving on River Road in East Newark, and he hit the bridge and got the truck stuck and tied up traffic for hours. He then proceeded to try an experiment with a backhoe in his Bailey shoes, and he decided to light a cigarette. The only thing is there was a guy standing under the bucket, and the bucket fell and hit him in the head. The guy's bleeding, wanted to go to the hospital, and John says, keep working, never mind the hospital, you can go home. And it's a good thing he got hurt on a Monday, because payday is Wednesday in John's office. And if you don't come in on Wednesday, you don't get paid till the following Wednesday. I know one day I filled in for Barbara when Barbara was on vacation. So I was reading the Star Ledger, and I decided to go through and I read in the paper. I get to the racetrack section, and I start circling the horses, and I figure the next day I'll check out and see how I did. Well, there's a horse called Carpenter Bob. My ex-husband's name was Bob, and he was a carpenter. So I went into John and I said, John, I know you know these kind of people. I want to put $100 to win on this horse. John says, no, you want to do win, place, and show. I said, no, I don't. I want to do $100 to win. All day I bothered him. John, did you take care of it? I'll take care of it. I'll take care of it. All day, I'll take care of it. 5 o'clock comes, I said, John, did you take care of it? Because I'll go find somebody that'll do this for me. I'll take care of it. I go home, I tell my husband what I did. In the morning, I'm sleeping, and I hear him wake up screaming, Doreen, get up. I run in. He shows me the paper. The horse won. It was like 33 to nothing, or whatever the odds were. I run to the phone. I call John. John, I won. He goes, you won what? I said, the horse, it won. Oh, no shit. Swear to God. You ain't gonna believe it, he says. We got a problem. I never bet the horse. They touched on Butchie. Butchie touched on John with fireworks. Well, John's experience as a fireman began at a very young age. He joined the Boy Scouts. And then my Uncle Jack used to be a volunteer man in Cedar Grove, so John joined the Cedar Grove Emergency Fire Squad. And they mentioned his brand new Riviera, which was beautiful. The only thing is, being 11 months younger than him, I got a 1952 $100 Ford Falcon. And John ran into a motorcycle gang one night who did some damage on a dead-end street again to his brand new Riviera. So he borrowed my car. On the way home, he flicked his cigarette. Only it didn't go out the window, it went in the back seat. He parked the car in front of the house, and I came out to go to school the next day, and the front seat of my car was on the lawn, and the car was still smoldering. After that, I used the Riviera a lot. Matter of fact, I told all my friends how to drive in it, never told John. They all went for their driving test in it, too. One day, about 6 of my friends were going to the Bahamas. So I called John and I said, John, could we use your Blazer and go to the airport? I'll get Barbara's brother Michael to drive us. No problem. Michael goes to John's house the next morning about 5:30 in the morning, gets John's car, gets to Bennett Avenue, and the phone rings in the car. It's John. He wants to know who's stealing his car. Michael comes and picks us up. We get to the airport, just to where the signs say Terminal A, Terminal B, Terminal C, and we run out of gas. Because John has a thing with putting gas in the car. And speaking of Barbara, I would call the office and ask for Barbara. And John would say, well, she quit again. This is going to cost me another dozen roses, but call her back on Friday. After 13 years of working with John, he told her Monday she was coming tonight. Barbara had several operations before she could get pregnant. 2 days after she had the baby, by cesarean section, John calls. Barb, what are you doing? Oh, nothing, John. Just sitting here with about 20 stitches trying to take care of the baby. Why? What can I do for you? Do you think you could do the bid for Carney? I'll carry the typewriter up for you. And they also touched on him getting held up. About 2 weeks ago, he calls Barbara at 9 o'clock at night. And he says, Barb, what are you doing? Why, John? Well, do you think you could go down to the office and get my phone book? She said, oh, no problem, John. Let me see if my father, my brother, and maybe they'll take the baby with them. And John, she said, are you kidding me? Late night calls, they all mentioned about John calling a cab for cigarettes. But what he didn't tell you is before he called the cab, he asked me to go at 11 o'clock at night and get cigarettes for him. One night he ran into Angelo's for cigarettes. He left his Blazer double parked out front on Ridge Road for an hour and a half. He came out and his truck was gone. They towed it away and he couldn't understand it. He couldn't understand why they towed his car away. I introduced John to Ivy, and one of the best, I think, one of the best stories was John bought Ivy a hope chest. And Ivy was teaching, I believe, in Barringer. And the kids begged her to take her home and show her her house. They had hid in the back of her car. She didn't even know they were in there. Well, John bought the hope chest. Ivy takes the kids home to her house, takes them up to show them her room, and who pops out of the hope chest but John? I'd like to see if we could dim the lights, because a lot of people don't know that my brother is an entertainer. Wow. And I'd like to just show you all a few minutes of John the Entertainer.
First thing that I would like to do is thank my mother-in-law, Jeanette, for treating me like a son for the last 29 years. It's my mother-in-law's birthday tonight. I'm not really sure where to start, but I'd have to agree with everybody because there are a lot of good things in Kearney, and I would probably say the best thing is the way the garbage gets collected. But on a more serious note, There's probably one or two stories that I probably should tell. First, I wish that some of my dear friends could have been here tonight. Luby, Eddie Rogers, and my dear friend Tommy Parry. Tommy Parry really would have been a great guy to roast me tonight, and he's in my heart. And most of all, with seeing everybody that's here tonight, I truly wish my mom and dad could have been with me here tonight, too. I'll probably take my shots at the roasties later on. And I'm not sure which stories to really tell. I don't know which ones are going to be right or which ones are going to be wrong. But I'll take a shot at one or two. A few years back, I had a vasectomy. And before I get started with that, I just want to let you know that I had a meeting with everybody Monday night, all the roastees, and I gave them all the guidelines and the perimeters that we were going to follow. So I guess I'm going to blow that right now. But no, I'm not going to say anything bad like that. But I have 10 or 12 guys that I graduated in 1969 with in high school, very, very dear friends of mine, that we go on a boat trip every year on the last weekend in July until we die. And that crew is right over here on my left. And very, very seriously, that's one of the many, many great things that's within Kearney is the friendships that are established. You have 10 or 12 guys since 1969 that get together every single year, and I'm very happy with that, and I love them all dearly. But one time, I'd say 6 months after I had this vasectomy, I had put on a few pounds because, as you can see in that movie, you know, Robert De Niro did that Raging Bull movie, and he had to put 40 pounds on for that. Well, that was a similar situation. You know, I knew that party was coming. I mean, I didn't just put that on for the hell of it. I mean, I had to work on putting that on for this movie. So what had happened was, during the discussion down at one of the steakhouses that we go at Harrah's every year, one of my friends said, you know, I'm thinking of getting a vasectomy. I said, holy Christ, don't do that. So what's the matter? I said, that makes your thing shrink. They all looked at me like I was crazy. I said, I'm telling you. I don't know what that doctor did, but he made it shrink. So about 8 months later, I started to lose weight. One day I'm in the shower. I looked down. I said, holy Christ, look at that. And then it really dawned on me. I said, it wasn't that it shrunk. It was just I was getting heavier and heavier, and I was missing part of it. And that's a true story, goddammit. I swear to God. No bullshit. Another story that probably would have made like America's funniest videos with my dear friend Tommy, and I drove him through a lot of crazy stories. As Andy had said, I did tell a lot of my friends, take a ride. And they were good friends, so they took a ride. I never told them what it was about. I just said, take a ride. Well, down on Broad Street near Military Park, there's a brownstone, and it's still there to this day. And it has two real nice cement planters. And when I had first bought my house, I said, boy, they look good in front of my house. And they had been knocking down a lot of the other buildings in the area, and they had the big pink X's on the buildings where they were going to knock them down. So one day I said to Tommy, Tommy, take a ride. He says, I said, you got that big 40-foot ladder? He said, yeah. I said, could we put it on the truck? He said, yeah. We put the 40-foot ladder on it. We drive down north. Where are we going? Well, we're taking a ride. We get down to this brownstone. I put this big 40-foot ladder up. I had a big rope. I climb up the ladder. I wrap the rope around this cement planter, and I gotta push it about 8 feet so it doesn't get chipped when I push it. And I had it wrapped around the sides like it'd go 10 feet, and then I'd be able to shimmy it down. All of a sudden, just as I'm getting ready to push it, this car pulled up with a big red light in the front of the dashboard. He jumped out of the car. He ran over to my friend Tommy. He said, what the hell are you doing? Tommy really had no idea. He says, you're asking me what the hell I'm doing? Why don't you ask him what the hell he's doing? So I run down, I go down the ladder, right? He said, what are you doing? I said, oh, they put an X on this. I said, I know the guy's knocking these buildings down. He said I could take it. He said, this is a 100-year-old historic building. I says, all right, well, then we'll leave. And he let us go. Another really crazy story was years and years ago, things were really, really rough for me for a while. And I had this little pickup truck that me and my dad had fixed the carburetor on that night. And I drove it home. I parked it on the side of the house. It was about 10 o'clock at night. I go into the house, and I'm eating dinner. I hear this boom. I said, holy Christ. I said, somebody must have tried to knock into the window or the door of that neighbor's house. I open the door, and it's my truck. It's on fire. I'm out there with the garden hose, and it had the sprinkler on it. You know what this is? I'm saying it. Call the fire department, but tell them don't send the sirens and nothing. Just come down and just check, make sure I'm all right. 5 minutes later, you'd have thought the Twin Towers were burning. Ring, ding, 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 all the lights going on. Get the axe, chop the hood. I'm like, this truck shot. I'm sitting on the side of my porch, and I mean, when I say things were bad, I mean things were bad. I said, holy Christ, man, you know, how am I gonna get to work? And my neighbor, Buddy Philippone, come across the street. This is a very, very true story. He handed me a keys to a Mercedes. He says, take this car tomorrow. And I was really, really touched with it. And I tried to keep it good for a couple days. And as my brother-in-law told you about how I am with other people's stuff with a car, I am really, really bad. I don't know where I learned it, but I'm bad with it. So after 2 or 3 weeks, you know, in and out with the dirt and the mud and everything, it turned out, well, that was later. It turned out I did have one of those fires, and I'm riding buddies in it. I think not Billy Joel or Joe Gray had owned the car previously, a real nice 2-seat gray red interior Mercedes. It was gorgeous. So I'm around the landfills, and I'm scraping the bottom, and I mean, I'm tearing the shit out of this goddamn car, right? But I mean, I was in a jam. So at that time, I probably sincerely had the car about 2 months. Then one day, it was knocking. I said, this is a problem. This is a problem. I called my dear friend Ray. My cousin was working there at the time. I said, you know, I got this special 2-seat Mercedes. How much is the motor? He said, that's about $5,800. This was my cousin. That's a problem because I was having trouble taking a bus, right? Well, we ain't gonna take it down there right now, right? So I park it down the yard. Now I'm taking a cab home at night. I'm taking a cab. Now my neighbor loaned me his car, and I'm taking a cab, getting out of a cab at night, walking into my goddamn house, right? So that went on for about a month. Then a couple times I'd catch him, like walking in, and he'd see me getting out of the car. I said, a cab, I'm sorry. And I said, man, he must be thinking something's wrong, right? So I talked to Johnny Wagner. I said, John, I got a real problem. First of all, the interior was real bad, too. So I had new rugs and stuff put in it. That was the cheaper side of it. What are you going to do about this knocking, Johnny? He said, we're going to send it up to these guys up the street. So now I don't know what the hell to do. Now it's about a month and a half. Now I got this car 4 months. One day he called me up on a Sunday morning. He said, John, come on, take a ride. I get in this car, and I'm not kidding you. I talked for 4.5 hours. I didn't give him one chance to say one word. For 4.5 hours. About 4.5 hours. Now, he brings this home. Now, we're getting out of the car. I said, I'm all right. I'm going to be all right with this one, right? He said, by the way, they steal the car? I said, no, what do you mean steal it? I said, I'm getting it all shampooed, compounded, and waxed. But that was really, it's a very true story. And beside that, I pressure washed it. Remember, I pressure washed it. He knows, he had to get it painted too. You know the pressure with the 1200 PSI? I had one of my guys pressure wash it, and the paint come right off the rear quarter pounder. I said, that's a goddamn problem. But he took it real, real good. And I appreciate it very, very much. With all sincerity, I could probably tell you a lot of stories because I have done a lot of wild and crazy things in my life. That's for sure. But to be very, very serious for a moment, I'm very, very honored to be here and be the roastie tonight. And last night I had the fortune of going over to DJ DiOrio's house last night and meeting that little guy. And I also have a seven-year-old son. And I had an idea what I was getting into when I went over and met this fella. But I could assure you that having 3 healthy children that I sincerely thank God about, and that's one of the happiest things that I'm appreciative in my life, and hope to God the rest of it goes good with my children. But when I seen that little boy sitting in that chair, I can tell you it broke my heart. And I sincerely, sincerely appreciate everything that everybody here did tonight. And that goes from the committee to Phil and Tony and to the Unico. But more important than that, I sincerely feel everyone in this room is a deep friend of mine. I have a lot of relationships with almost everybody in this room in different ways, in various ways. And I cannot express to you how deeply you've touched me tonight by going into your pockets and coming and indirectly helping this DJ DiOrio. Because to see that little boy sitting there and talking and knowing the tough road that this kid has to go, it's very, very rough. And I'm gonna ask one more thing from everybody here tonight. And it's not any more money or anything like that. But after talking to this little boy, he still has a long way to go. And if everybody in this room is my friend, the one thing that I would sincerely ask each and every one of you here to do as a favor and everything else to me is to send just a goodwill card to 257 Chestnut Street in Kearney to DJ DiOrio and saying good luck, praying for you, hoping you get better soon. And for that, I'll be forever grateful to each and every one of you, and thank you very, very much.
Ask John to do one more thing, the drawing of the 50-50. Would the ladies please bring up the buckets? Oh, Phil?
Phil, computer, please come forward.